Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SDN Racing Season 5 Tier 1 for round 2 here at the Miami Grand Prix. We travel from Australia, now it's the Americas, and we are here for another event. My name is Indigo, or Jamie, as you guys want to call me, whatever. And alongside me tonight is Milana Langer. Hoe gaat het, mates?
Het gaat goed, dankjewel. I am glad to be here again. We had a great time last week, so hoping to replicate that tonight, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we saw a thrilling race last time. It was a Williams 1-2 that Lucas came out on top ahead of Kick, Finn and Zach. What a race that was with Fireblazer P5. Didn't go Ferrari's way last time out, but the last time they raced in USA, they managed to secure a 1-2. Can they replicate that? It might be a bit difficult because one Ferrari is here, which is Mike, and the other one is Fireblaze. Yes, both Ferraris are here, so I got confused because it's usually Finn Hertz who is the Ferrari driver, but unfortunately Finn Hertz is not racing tonight. But as you noticed on the circuit already, it is spits out there, so this could be a qualifying session where these drivers need to go immediately, get that lap down, and make sure he's good enough to get himself to Q2. This could be a short qualifying if the rain intensifies even more, Milan.
Yeah, exactly. They basically only have one lap, and you want to be as quickly on a lap as possible. So everyone already out of pit lane, apart from a few drivers. But yeah, this is going to be very tricky with the track conditions worsening already in the early stages of qualifying. Yeah, it could be a very short Q1 indeed, but still a few drivers in the pit lane. I'm not sure if that is a smarter decision because the rain is already falling. See some side-by-side action already for track position here in the final sector. It's hectic out here.
It's already hectic, but both Aston Martins already are on the outer laps in the final 2 corners. So we got on board with Eric first seen as the first driver to come out of the pit lane and start a flying lap. The rest of them are in the middle sector. A few of them are in the pit lane. Those people in the pit lane like Sasha Hood, Ryan Benank and Heiken Haas are in the pit lane then. Lock up into turn 1 for Eric as we make our way towards turn 2 and turn 3, using all the curb there. You can see right the curb in turn 3, almost getting the validation as he wants to maximise and excel out of the corner. Here we are towards turn 4, turn 5. Look at that. We're licking the car in as we make our way now towards the long looping left-hander of turn 8. Look at the steering input. He's taken through there, misses the apex but gets on the throttle. You can see the understeer he encountered there through turn number 8 as we exit the corner where Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly crashed back in 2022 when we saw that safety car come out and he spiced things up. Otherwise it would have been a boring Miami Grand Prix. Here we are then, another dab on the brakes down in towards turn 11 we go. A heavy braking zone. There are 3 heavy braking zones on this track. Turn 1, turn 11 and turn 17. Look at that wobble on going out there as we make our way towards this tricky chicane. Hop, skip a jump, and this one towards the left-hander. Look at the steering input he puts through there. Want to avoid the wall on the outside as much as you can, but at the same time get as close to it as to try and gain maximum mile lap time. Here we are then, DRS enabled. I didn't see his intermediate split in the second sensor, as he makes his way down towards turn 17. Here we are then, another stamp on the brakes into the corner, scrub off on the speed, hit the apex, then gently get on the throttle there as we climb through the gears once again. The first lap time is going to be a 27 or 26.6, and it goes to provisional pole, whereas teammate Reiki goes into P2, 4/10 of drifts, and both Aston Martins are currently 1-2. But could that be the best lap times we see, Milan?
It seems like a solid lap is actually what we want. It's not going to be the best lap because Silo has already gone 1.2 seconds faster, so the rain hasn't affected the drivers behind as much as you think in these conditions. As the other Alpine of Matisse goes into second place as well, the times start dropping in. Mike up to P3. Yeah, all the times are going in right now, and it seems like the rain hasn't affected them as much as you normally think.
Definitely damp conditions there, as you can see on the circuit. Kit goes into P3. It's another Alpine 1-2 in qualifying. Silo on pole ahead of Matthias in P2s then. So both Alpines looking strong in qualifying, but unfortunately in the last race we saw Silo pick up a 3-second penalty. Now the Sauber driver, Fireblaze, goes up into P4 with a 26.2, but the Sauber of Tice unfortunately had a spin out of turn number 17, the heavy braking zone. I think he lost traction and he hit the wall and had to bail into the pit lane. So his qualifying's ruined because these could be the best track conditions if it stays like this. But if the rain intensifies, that means that Tice won't get a decent lap on the board. Here comes Mummy Nick now towards the line. He goes up to P12 at a 29.0. But remember, guys, in Q1, the main target is to get through towards the top 15. So far, Ryan Banink in P16 is in the danger zone, and so is Kaiken Haas in 17th, who hasn't came on the pit lane. Interesting, we've got 2 drivers on a set of medium compound tyres, so that's quite interesting considering the rain is hitting the circuit. But do they believe it's going to stay like this? We'll see, as he has a massive lockup going towards turn 11.
Yeah, that is a massive gamble to go out to the mediums, especially in these conditions where it's gonna get slipperier by the second. But Ryan believes he is gonna be quick enough on these mediums. Apparently, he is navigating his way through the final sector, still looking pretty good, to be honest. And well, pretty quick. 101.5. Not sure how that matches up with the rest of the field, but I think even on these mediums, and even though he's gone out pretty late, he might still be able to get that spot inside the top 15. As Tyson goes out again, and Geitengaas, I'm not sure what he's doing, but he's still in pit lane. No sign of going out in just yet.
Here he is. Here comes the Haasman making his way towards the line now. He's going to be P8. So the main target is to get through Q2 inside the top 15. He's done that, but we've still got others out there who could improve because their first lap times got massive gaps in the midfield. So that could mean that the people that went out there struggled a lot, not getting used to track conditions, not adapting quick enough like the guys ahead. Because Silo, Matthias, and Kick, what a fantastic lap times they've done so far in the 25, low 25s as well, on their first laps on a damp, tricky track. So we never know the guys behind that could improve dramatically as well by getting used to track conditions. Kick is retired, so he thinks he's safely into Q2, and he no longer needs to go on the circuit and wait to set a soft compound tyres. Mike is also in the pit lane and retired too. Silo's retired as well, so it looks like those guys are feeling very confident so far. Both Saubers are out there, Mummy Nick and Tice. We've got Mummy Nick coming through turn 7. We've got Tice coming through turn 3. So we'll go on board with the Sauber of Mummy Nick as he's currently 10th up in the first sector with a 29.0 then. So I presume he made a mistake with his first lap, or could have gone for another out lap, and we'll see then. How's he got the tyres up to temperature as we make our way now towards the tricky breaker zone in towards the 11. We see a lot of people lock up as well. Look up on the front inside, and he goes a bit wide, compromised into the next right-hander we go, so he loses a bit of lap time as we make our way now towards the chicane we go. This is very difficult indeed. Full commitment through there. As you can see, a lot of standing put being used as well as he makes his way out the slow speed corner at turn 16, and look at that. He's lost a bit of time in there, Milan, as he made that lock up.
Yeah, lots of time there, and he's down on his time. He's still a second behind P14, so at the moment he's very much in the danger zone, especially with his teammate on a lap behind. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get quicker in these conditions. But I must say that the rain isn't isn't increasing at all since the start of the session, at least from my looks of on my screen. It's still spitting pretty lightly out there, so he might just be able to find a lap time. Minek does improve in the end by only half a second and stays in P15.
Oh, Tice has a massive wheel spin. Look, once again, so that's twice. He can't get the power down as he makes his way now towards the line. It's going to be P16 only. The 2 Sauber drivers are in real danger. Tice and Mummy Nick as well. Actually, Tice is in real danger in 16th place because Kaiken Haas hasn't set lap time yet. He's still in the pit lane, not going out there just yet. So, Evans came out there thinking he might be in danger. And Ryan Benank could be, as Mike says, final race of my career. So, but let's best hope for you, Mike, that we have a good last race for your Ferrari. I'm not quite sure what you're doing. Maybe you've got other commitments in real life. Maybe you've got commitments of work or whatever. But whatever you do in the future, let's hope for a good race for the final race this season for you. And currently P5 so far in Q1, so nicely secured. But Q2 and Q3 is still there. Ivan, the Dutchman, makes his way out of turn 3 then as we get full throttle once again. Used a bit of ERS there, a bit of deployment out of the corner as we make our way now, sweeping through turn 4. Look at the black box. That's when you want to sweep the car in, just off the throttle slightly, but goes off the track and invalidates his lap time. So Ivan there carrying too much speed and unfortunately has invalidated that lap time.
Yeah, very unfortunately, it seems to be carrying a bit too much speed into the SS, especially with the track grip getting lower at the minute. So, yeah, unfortunately, not able to improve, but I don't think he really has to improve. He's P9, I think he's pretty safe on getting towards Q2 as cars behind seem to be struggling to find an improvement. Still, the Sauber's still out there on track, trying to make something of this Q1 session, but it's very difficult to improve. You can already tell by the way cars are going off left, right and center, and Muminek is going to try again.
Yes, mate, thanks. Game development will be main, says Mike. So, Mike, I think Mike will be still in the league. So, thankfully, we still get you here, Mike, and hopefully for you, game development. I don't know if you mean by this or like you got a course of game development, but whatever it is, I hope you do well at that. Good luck for the future, mate, and hope to see you back soon. My man Nick, 10th up in the first sector, but as you could tell, he's done 4 laps on these set of soft compound tyres, indicating he's filled the car up to go for multiple runs. So not the true pace we've seen so far, because on a brand new set of softs with light fuel, he could definitely improve. But there is 7 minutes left in this session, very much on the brink of being knocked out in Q1 as he hops, jumps, and skips over the curb there to make our way now towards turn 16 we go. Strip the car in, but look at that massive tank slapper again, but he is 7 tenths down in that middle sector, so it doesn't matter. But Tice, however, is 2 tenths up, so both Sauber drivers have gone for long fuel runs. It's not the first time I've seen this either, so maybe you just want to get through on one set of soft compound tyres like Ryan has. He's going to do a set of medium compound tyres. Look at that, getting super close to the wall, and he's currently 2 tenths up in the middle sector. So his main target is to be his teammate who's back in the pit lane, is Mummy Nick. So it's better for the Sauber drivers to see who can get themselves inside the top 15. Kaik and Haas, could he be leaving this to the very latest stages? Could he know something that we don't? Maybe the conditions are lighting up. Here comes Tice now, coming towards the final corner, towards the line, and as you can see, not a representative lap time, I hope, for his sake, because a 28.9 is nowhere near quick enough, unfortunately. So still 16th and still in danger, but when he puts on a brand new set of soft compound tyres, hopefully we see the true pace from him, as majority of drivers are in the pits or retiring, so they know they're safe. But AMS Tim in 12th place and Robbie Jacobs in P12, or P11, sorry, on the medium compound tyres. So those people have gone for the mediums, have done themselves a favour, as they have got through on a set of medium compound tyres and save a set of soft compound tyres. As Mike's, oh, wow. Well, all I want to say is that Mike sent me a message through DMs. Very happy for you, very proud of you, and good luck for good luck for the next chapter. I am very jealous, mate. But anyways, they are the 2 Sauber drivers in 15th and 16th, are fighting very much to get themselves into Q2.
Absolutely, yeah, and Geitenkaas is finally out on a lap. 6 minutes remaining in the session, he decided to go out. Let's see, it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to get a lap time to get him inside the top 15. His teammate at the moment is P14, so we could get both of the V-Carbs through and knock both of the Saubers out, who are still struggling to improve. Tice is still out there, but he could go onto a set of softs, a new set of softs, but even then he still needs to improve by 8 tenths. But let's see what Geitenkaas can do. He is around the final sector of his outlap. Yeah, he needs to perform now, it's now or never, but the track seems to be alright still. Pretty much the same as the start of this session. Yeah, he needs the final lap time now.
So very calm and composed as Karkin has, because if I saw rain in Q1, I would go out there immediately. That's what most people do. But Karkin has decided to leave in the pit lane, wait later on, let the track rubber in just a bit, because he could stay like this at the whole of qualifying. Maybe the rain will stop in Q2 and in Q3. So here comes the RB driver now as he's about to start his first flying lap. What's up, Space Cake? You remember me from last race in Australia? Of course I do. It's been a week, mate. Why would I forget about you? As we make our way towards turn 3, you can see him lift off through there in turn 3. It is a flat-out corner, but he doesn't feel confident just yet. Bearing in mind, it is his first lap time. As we strip through turn 4 in 6th gear there, a little bit of lift off the throttle, no braking applied. As we make our way now towards this long left-hander, the right front will definitely feel that as he connects up to the apex, misses the apex slightly, but the DRS will be enabled at 29.9 in the first sector, and that is purple. Not quite sure if that's accurate or not, as the DRS then is enabled on this straight, where we can see some overtaking him down towards turn 11. Lewis Hamilton had to do so back this season, or last season, 2024, when him and Hulkenberg and Rosberg had a fight. Sorry, when him and Hulkenberg and Magnussen had a big fight there, and the two Hasses were defending really well. Here comes then the RB as he makes his way towards the chicane, where Verstappen went off, and it cost him a bit of time as well, because he had a bit of bodywork from the bollard as he makes his way out of turn 16 then with the DRS wide open. I heard you laugh a bit, Milan.
Yeah, I checked Thijs' sector times, and Geitenkaas, he's at the moment 1.5 seconds quicker than Thijs on this lap, so I think he's definitely going to be able to get it inside the top 15.
Here he is then. Kleikenhaus powers his way out the final 2 corners then as he makes his way towards the line. What's it going to be for Kleikenhaus? Goes up into 11th place as he slots in just behind Reiki there in the Aston Martin. Bro knows every battle in the whole F1 history. Yeah, mate, I do. I am an F1 commentator for a reason, and a lot of people bring up how much I can remember from the past years, really, past 20 years, from every single battle I know, from different tracks and different circuits. I could just pinpoint and tell you. But funny enough, I don't really remember what happened last season in 2023. Last season, 2 seasons ago in 2023, because that was a very stale season that was for me. So even though I remember what happened like 20 years ago, I don't remember what happened in 2023, so I've got to recap. But Milan, so far, 2 Haas's, or 2 Saubers, sorry, are in danger.
Yeah, they are, and I think they're not going to be able to make it to Q2 then. Yeah, 3 seconds off, 3.4 seconds off. It's not been a good day for the Sauber team. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Are they going out? I think they are. See a mechanic running out of the garage in the background. They need to be honest. It's their only chance right now. Thijs going out already. Mominik still in pit lane. But yeah, Thijs, he needs to find 8/10 in order to get himself into Q2.
So I'm surprised about this, that Thijs is not able to find a lap time. Maybe on their first laps they were just running around the circuit, just exploratory lap times before they go into the real thing. Because I know some people, they like to just go out for runs on the same set of stock pod tires, fuel the car up, just explore the track. But this is the real deal because they've got 2 minutes left in this session. So both Saubers need to get a move on because they're both not out in Q1. Mummy Nick, the main admin of this league, and Thijs, the other Dutchman in the Kick Sauber. Sasha Hood in P15 is also on the brink too of being eliminated in Q1. Do you remember? I'm going to take you back through a bit of history. I don't know if I said it last race, but Milan, do you remember back in 2016 in the first 2 races where we had a knockout qualifier system?
I do remember indeed with the elimination system. It's quite an odd system, to be honest, and obviously it didn't work out. They abandoned that after like 2 races, I think, because they wanted to spice up the qualifying, but it did anything but that, if I remember correctly. I'm glad they removed it, to be honest, but it was interesting at the start of the season.
As Marty Brundle says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it was definitely broken, that qualifying session. So they had to revert it back. I'm so glad they did because the first 2 qualifyings at Australia and Bahrain was so boring. With about 5 minutes left to go in Q3, people stayed in the pit lane and the qualifying ended prematurely for everybody. The one thing that was good, though, is that Pascal Wehrlein got himself into Q2 because Sergio Perez was on the brink of being eliminated. Then Pascal Wehrlein out of nowhere got himself into P15, I believe, in the manor when the manor was so bad. So Perez got knocked out by a manor, and Pascal Wehrlein secured one of his best results in qualifying. But his best result came in Austria when he qualified P12 in the manor, finished in P9, I believe it was, or P10. So here we are then. Sorry about that. 8/10 up. Look at this though. Back towards Thijs. He is 8/10 up in the first sector. Back to the real potential pace because both Saubers are on their laps. Turn 1, 2 and 3. So Sasha Hood and NL and Tim could be on their seats there, the edge of their seats, because they know that the 3 behind are currently improving then. Here he is. Through the right hand we go before we got onto full throttle once again. Now through the most tricky part of this qualifying session. It's chicane, and he almost lost it, and he took a lot of curb. The back end of the car wobbled and complained, and he's 8/10 up, but this could not be enough. Maybe he needs to make it up in the final 2 corners. Can he do it, Milan?
Well, I'm not quite sure. It looked a bit unstable on the back end, but he's still 8/10 up. It's going to be very close, but Sasha, he is on a lap as well. He was 1,000 up at the end of Sector 1. Let's see if it's improving in Sector 2. 4/10 up. It's not going to be enough for Thijs. If he continues to do it like this, he's going to run to the line. P17 right now. Can he turn it into Q2? P15 he can, but Sasha is on a better lap.
So it's Sasha or Mummy Nick. Those 2 could be the ones to knock out. But Sasha Hood is currently on an improvement, 4/10 up in that middle sector. A bit of a slide on the final 2 corners. So here he is then. Sasha Hood in the RB comes towards the line. He goes P15. He's knocked out Thijs. And what about Mummy Nick? Mummy Nick is 3/10 up as he clouts the curb in turn 17. A bit of a 1-on-2 there out of the final corner as he makes his way towards the line now. Can he put himself into Q2? The answer is no. Stays P17 for the Sauber driver, unfortunately.
Yeah, disappointment then for the Sauber team. Out of the only drivers going out in Q1, it's only the two Saubers, P16 and 17. Very unfortunate indeed, and especially when you got drivers who continue on to Q2 on the mediums. It must be very painful to see that, and the gap's quite big actually, 5/10 to P15 for Thijsie. So yeah, far from ideal for Team Sauber.
It's Team Sauber at the bottom, Team Alpine at the front, with the Williams and Ferrari mixing up with Eric in P7. The two people that got through on the Q2 on the medium compound tyres were Ryan and Jacobs. The Dutchman and the Belgium driver got themselves through to Q2. So that means they've saved a set of soft compound tyres in case of Q2 or Q3, depending on what they want to use. But now we move on to Q2, where it's all about getting themselves inside the top 10. Q2, I must say, was very interesting a few games ago, or a few seasons ago, because, years ago, I must say, in F1, because the rule was in Q2, whatever tyre you set your best lap time on, that's the tyre you start on inside the top 10. That rule was in 2021 before. They got rid of it in 2022, I think they did. So it doesn't matter anymore what tyre you get through onto Q2. It's very hard to explain. No, it's not. It's not hard to. It's hard to explain, but it's very easy to understand.
Yeah, just the tire set on Q2 was the tire you're gonna start on. It was, I think it's better than what it is right now, and I'm, yeah, sadly they removed it. But as we move on to Q2, it is still very much raining, but still also very much slick conditions.
It is indeed then. So these drivers made their way out of the pit lane. Are these conditions going to stay with us for the rest of qualifying? Because it's not worsening or it's not improving. So it could stay like this, as all the drivers then make their way out of the pit lane just in case if the rain intensifies, and therefore they could lose out. We saw what happened back in 2020, I think it was 2022, in qualifying when Kevin Magnussen took pole because he was the first one to come out of the pit lane and was able to set a lap time, as George also went off on a spin and ended his result right there. Kevin Magnussen took his first pole of the season. Reminds me of Nico Hulkenberg as well when he blitzed the wet conditions in 2010, did Nico Hulkenberg in the Williams it was. Funnily enough as well, look at this. Robert Jacques versus the Ferrari. They're fighting for track position, these guys, as the Ferrari goes down the inside. It's like contact. I'm not quite sure. Did they make contact? I'm not quite sure. But anyways, they get out unscathed. I don't think nobody has got a damaged wing. And who was that Ferrari who tried to go to the inside? Was that Fireblaze? It wasn't Fireblaze. So it's his teammate Mike. Did he get any end plate damage?
Doesn't appear to be, and even fortunately enough, neither of them got a grid penalty, which is well, maybe way more important in this qualifying session. But not sure what happened there. But I think they got away with it. Very lucky indeed.
Alpine are looking strong once again, because I know in the last season that Alpine did struggle a bit, although Matthias got them a win and one podium. But other than that, the top 10, they could barely scrape through. So the first driver is a Haas on our lap time. That's Ryan, who we saw on the mini compound tyres. Look at the final corner, Milan. It's a traffic paradise, as Yuki Tsunoda would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Car's trying to find a gap, and Robert is actually very close to the back of Mike. Could give him a disadvantage going into turn one. Already close in the gap. Yeah, his lap is totally ruined.
Yeah, so some people's lap times are ruined before they even started because they're way too close for comfort. So DRS enabled on the Toyota Haas, as it'll be called, next season with Oliver Behrman and Esteban Ocon racing for the American squad team as he makes his way down towards turn 11, now turn 12. I did see the first sector, the car was complaining, but I'm not surprised in these conditions. Very tricky conditions indeed. He got through into Q2 on the medium compound tyres. What can he do in Q2 now as he cuts the curb? Look at that massive wheel spin. You could hear it there as he applied the throttle. The car screaming underneath those tyres as the DRS is enabled on this straight then. So just waiting and waiting before we slam on the brakes into turn 17. Then look at the 100-meter board just before that, slam on the brakes into third gear, hit the apex to just wait patiently for the throttle, then build it up, brake traction, use all the battery you have left. Here he is towards the line at 27.3, and that's not what we've seen in Q1. So a bit slower these times. Do you think the rain could be a bit worse than Q1 as Matthias goes quickest?
It might be actually, and as I was looking on board with Sasha, he went off in the hairpin, and as he came back on track, he totally blocked the Aston Martin of Eric, who, well, he has to back off, and that's his lap time ruined. Bit of a dangerous move there by the V-carb, and Robbie Jacobs also having to overtake Mike on this lap. So far from ideal traffic-wise in this qualifying session so far. But yeah, the rain seems to be maybe a little bit more significant than it was in Q1.
Yeah, much more heavier drops. As you can see, that the puddles could be developing very soon. So these first lap times could be very pivotal for people's qualified as Kick goes up into P5. So both Williams are P5 and P7 Lucas, and Kick as Kaiken Haas goes up into P8. This time Kaiken Haas is not leaving it towards the last minute of this session. He's going out there, but his RB teammate, interestingly, is about to come on the pit lane. So no, he's actually in the pit lane. I thought he stayed in there. So he made a mistake. This Sachet Hood, he only scraped through to Q2 as well. So unfortunately for the RB driver, he has made a mistake in the validator's lap time, and he could be knocked out of Q2. But look at that as well. Eric in P14 has set a 34.9 going through second lap. So he made a mistake on his first lap. Bear in mind, you said that Aston Martin went off the track and he rejoined in front of somebody.
Yeah. It was Sasha Goed. He went off in turn 11 and stopped on track, and then when he returned back onto the track, he fully blocked the path of Eric himself. So that's why those two haven't been able to set a competitive lap time just yet, and that's probably why Sasha went to the pit lane. And Eric, I think he is trying again on this lap, going through this very, very awkward chicane.
Look at that. Look at the steering input he's putting in as well, just flicking the car through as he gets to the power once again. 2.3 seconds up on his second lap. But I hope for his sake that the conditions haven't worsened on his lap. Otherwise, could be knocked out of Q2. Mike, however, in the Ferrari is knocked out of Q2 so far, as so is NL. Tim in 30th place, and Sasha Hood as he drifts through into turn 17 on the power once again. The back end of the car also complaining as he makes his way now towards the line. He goes, where is he going to put the Aston Martin? That's a decent lap time. That's P7 for him, and luckily he's into Q2. Lucas is out there still, but I think he's going to go back in the pit lane, but Lucas could be in real danger.
Yeah, good lap indeed there from Eric. It does look like the conditions are getting worse. So we saw him sliding around. Everyone is in the pit lane though, and it's going to be interesting to see if anyone is going to try and go out. Well, probably the ones who are currently knocked out in Q2. But yeah, the rate might be getting a little bit heavier in this second part of qualifying.
So every single driver back in the pit lane, to be looking at the conditions and look at the delta between the softs and inters and wondering, is it worth to go out and set of soft powered tyres? Maybe the guys behind out of the top 10, yes, it's definitely worth it. But at the same time, is the track conditions worse and therefore they can't improve? We're about to find out anytime soon. We've got Tim on the outlap. He's on a 28.8 in P14, so definitely needs to find an improvement. However, Mike in the second Ferrari is also coming out as well. He's the graphic designer as he makes his way now out of the pit lane. He'd be hoping to get himself inside the top 10 with 8 minutes left to go. He did start his lap time with the Red Bull of Robbie Jacobs as well, so he definitely compromised himself by staying behind the Red Bull. And like you said, did the Red Bull overtake him on his lap?
Yeah, he did on the main straight, or the second straight, I should say, because Robert was behind the Ferrari during the first sector, then he overtook him on that straight. So both of their laps have been compromised. So Mike can probably go a little bit quicker, have the conditions not worsened.
Apologies for the people I don't read your comments out. I can't read every single one of them out, but I'll try my absolute best. When is Indigo doing a Mogul review? What does he mean by that, Milan?
I have no idea. I wish I could tell you, but I don't know.
Well, that's interesting. But here is Mike then in the Ferrari. Be looking to try and get himself inside the top 10. The cut-off time at 28.193 from Ivan in the McLaren then. So Ivan's not safe. He'll be looking over his shoulders nervously. Interestingly, the man in P4, Robbie, those two of the mini compound tyres, third and fourth, are coming out of the pit lane. Well, the ones that went through on the mini compound tyres. He said that's a drink. I'm not really a fan of alcohol, so I'm not quite sure what that is. But if I do drink it, I'll let you know, mate. But anyways, here we are then towards the final corner. So Mike, GR7, his final race, he'll be looking to try and get himself inside the top 10. Can he do it? Over to you, Milan. Do you want to commentate on this lap?
Yeah, sure. Let's ride on board then with the Ferrari on the main straight going into turn 1. Let's see if he can try and improve, missing the apex just a little bit on turn 1 and taking loads of curb into turn 3 and 4, I think that is, or turns 2 and 3, then onto a little straight, then heading into the SS where Charles Leclerc had his crash in 2022. Let's see if he's not going to be able to replicate that. He is staying a bit away from the curbs, which is probably a clever thing to do, especially in these dampening conditions. Then navigating his way out of sector 1. He's up by 1.5 tenths, a little bit more than that, which at the moment is not going to be good enough to get him into Q2. Now onto the second DRS straight of this track. It's 2 of 3 DRS straight, and now into the braking zone of turn 11. As he goes just a little bit too deep at Manchester State on the track. And now to the trickiest part of the lap, very close with the walls, and also this very awkward chicane with the curbs, and you have to be careful to not cut it too much and get yourself a track limit or a warning or invalidation. As he now runs on to the final straight, turn 16, he's up by 0.6 of a second. That's more like it. He might be able to get himself into the top 10. Final straight with the DRS, ERS open. And now we go into turn 17, the final big braking zone of this track. Let's see, he goes just a little bit too deep, but I think he can carry the speed throughout on the exit. Now onto the run to the line, full throttle, use all the ERS he's left in the battery. P13, he turns it into P9, and that is good enough to get him into Q3 for now, but it is very close because P10 is only 16 thousandths away and P11 just over 10. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep that, but he has done a very good job to get himself inside the top 10 for now.
I think Ivan has just made a mistake, and he's lost his end plate too. So Ivan, where Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly crashed, has made a big mistake. He's lost his end plate, and therefore trips the pits is necessary. So the McLaren on the back foot, he's currently in P11 with a 28.1 then. With a few minutes left to go, he could do about one more lap time. But that one more lap time will have to count for the McLaren driver. Tim, however, big snap and also validated his lap time as well. What about Sashay Hood in the RB? Sashay is currently 3.6 seconds down in the middle sector, so he is not on a lap time. What about Fireplace in the Ferrari? What's he doing? 2 tenths down in the middle sector, but he could be the one that's safe so far. So both Ferraris in. Is currently Matthias on provisional pole with a 26.9. A tenth ahead of Silo. It's an Alpine motto again, so Alpine are looking really strong in this qualifying session. What about both Williams though? Because Lucas and Eric, or Lucas and Kick, we haven't really seen much of them so far, but we know they work together in harmony in the race to try and spice up and get the good results. But however, Milan, your commentary on that lap was amazing, mate. Fantastic to listen to.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Lovely to hear. But yeah, talking about the Williams drivers, they're a bit on the back foot, to be honest, in this qualifying session. They were at the front in Australia and worked really well together in the race. So P5 and P8, I think they're going to be safely getting through into Q3. But we haven't seen them too much yet in the session. Kick 7 tenths off, Lucas 1.1. To be honest, these conditions aren't the usual conditions. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see until the race if they can find any more positions and work together again. But Alpine appear to be the strongest team and quite a distance, to be honest, to Ryan. Half a second, 3 minutes left in the session, and Geitegaas is the only car out on track right now, and he is on the cusp. He is P10, is in the danger zone, and he is going to try and improve to get himself safely through into Q3.
Indeed he is then. So currently P10 on the cusp, and let's see, with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go as he takes a wide angle there to try and get a slingshot exit. However, Jake Malum, nice to see you in the chat once again, mate. Thank you for supporting me in the last 2 races. I know back in college, I didn't really show you that I was commentating because I want to keep it quiet. But anyways, here we are down towards turn 1. Braking just before the 100-meter board into 4th gear. Locks up on the entry towards turn 1. Going through turn 2 and turn 3. You can see that he's very, very cautious and precarious. He doesn't use the curbs in turn 2 and turn 3 as you normally would in the dry conditions. So not really maximising the track limits there. As we make our way towards turn 5, turn 6. Look at this. They carry the speed through 6th gear as we make our way towards this left-hand. They want to open it up. They bring it back in. Misses the apex slightly, but it is very tricky in these conditions. 3 tenths up in the first sector. These 3 tenths are enough to catapult him up the order towards 7th, maybe. Depends if he can find more time in this little sector. But so far, it's a decent lap. The guys behind, however, Ivan, Reiki, Sashay, AMS Tim, and NL are all on their out laps then, ready to improve with about 1 minute and 50 seconds left to go on the clock. Here we are, they're coming towards the Mickey Mouse corner. Here we are, misses the apex there, but uses a lot in the second part as he bounces over the curb, goes a bit wide as we go towards turn 16, hits the curb or hits the barriers on the outside, but no damage done. Look at that, he's lost a bit of time in the middle sector there, so maybe going a bit wide as a few corners has really compromised him. And he's backed out. He has backed out of his lap time. The disadvantage for that one is, Milan, that he has can barely generate his EOS, can he?
Yeah, it's not going to be good enough with the ERS levels, but yeah, that lap, it was a very good start to his lap, and then in turn 14 and 15, that chicane, he lost all his time, hitting the wall on the exit as well, losing all the 3 tenths that he gained. I can see on board with him, the battery's only like halfway at this point, so it's going to be very tricky for him to find an improvement. A bit of a gamble there to back off on that lap. But he is going to try again with just under a minute to go. He needs to, as Ivan has now also started his lap, as well as his teammate Tim. Both McLarens now on the lap, but Tim has backed off.
No, he has backed off. Tim made a big mistake out of turn 2. He spun and faced the wrong way. Qualifying is done and dusted, but Tim could do his teammate a massive favour now. He could give Ivan the slipstream all the way down the back straight. So hopefully for Ivan, he could get a slipstream at the back of his teammate and try and put him inside the top 10. Raikkonen Haas is going for another lap time, but he's low on battery. Will he have enough battery left in the final sector? It's his one and only lap time. Look at the back end of the car, complaining as he tries to carry the speed to the corner. Looking at the back of the car, is really complaining. 1 tenth down in the first sector. By the way, guys, as he's backed up his lap time, thank you so much for your comments there. As you can see, Tim gave his teammates this stream down the second straight, but Ivan goes a bit deep in towards turn 11. We appreciate your comments, by the way. Jake says, sounds like one of the commentators is Dutch, and quite a few players are based off names. Any reason why certain servers, just out of interest? No, it's not a Dutch league. I think it's an international league. Any person could join, but obviously a few people here are friends of friends, and just invite people out of Dutch and whatever. There's people here that are from Belgium, Denmark, UK, wherever, but it's not a Dutch league. It's just that majority of happen to be Dutch. But Van goes a bit wide into turn 17, outbreaks himself, but can he put himself into Q3? Let's have a look now. Can the Dutchman do it? No, he can't. He stays in P11. What about the guys behind? Reiki is 2 tenths down as he wobbles at the corner. Sasha Hood is definitely not an improvement. What about NL? Also not an improvement either, so he is out of qualifying. However, Jake, by the way, Fireblaze is the same as you. You can probably tell by the name what he does, and he's definitely the same as you. So I'm not going to say it on stream, obviously, but you know what I mean. Raikkonen Haas makes it into Q2, despite having his runs, or despite to ruin in his last 2 laps. But however, it was enough to put himself to Q3 with a 28.0. Milan is going to be an interesting Q3. Both Alpines are looking strong so far.
They are looking very, very strong indeed, and I think they are the favourites for pole position. And going back on the guys knocked out in Q2, I think all of them made a mistake, and I saw Sasha spin as well in turn 3, which costed him a chance to improve. But yeah, going into Q3 then we've got both Alpines very strong, and Ryan is always very strong in qualifying. The Williams drivers a bit on the back foot, but they are still there. And also, by the way, Mike has made it to Q3 on his final race. Well done to him in the Ferrari. His lap was good enough, and Geitegas on the skin of his teeth made it through inside the top 10, so that's the end then of Q2.
Look at this then. So the Norwegian of Ryan Bernal. I've commentated over a lot of Norwegians, but there's only one in here so far. Matthias, Silo, both Alpines are in contention for pole. I'd be surprised they don't get it. What can the Williams do? However, the guys who are knocked out of Q2 is Ivan, Reiki, Tim, Sasha, Hood, and Elo. So Jake, if you're still here, I'm going to explain to you what qualify is all about. You probably know what it's about. It's pretty self-explanatory. But in terms of long qualifying 1, you're lucky to try and get yourself inside the top 15. So 4 people go out. Usually there's 20 drivers in a lobby, maximum. 2 spectators or 2 commentators. 20 drivers in Q1. 5 of them get knocked out, so that's 15. Q2, the top 15. The 5 of them get knocked out, so that's P11 down to P15. Into Q3, it's a top 10 shootout to see who can go quickest to start a pole. And if you get the fastest lap, you'll start a pole. I'm doing a Will Buxton type shit. Sorry about that. That's very obvious indeed. But yeah, so Q3 now is all about being the fastest and if you start a pole, you'll finish first.
Very nice. That is absolutely true. But the rain is still present with us here in Q3. So, well, it seems to be the same conditions as we had in Q2. So the rain is pretty much the same all qualifying long. Hasn't got any worse or better throughout this entire session. So same challenging track conditions. And we oversee a lot of cars going out. And I am going to make quick use of the toilet. So I will be right back.
As Milan empties his bladder, I will do soon as well because I feel like I need the toilet very shortly. But anyways, I used to live 10 minutes from Williams. Oh, that's very interesting. But Jake, so we slowly get rid of the slowest drivers. Yeah, so basically Q1, You got to make it through top 15 to make it inside Q2. In Q2, the bottom 5 from 11th to 15th get knocked out. In Q3, the top 10 go through, and obviously, whoever sets the fastest time will start on pole, and so on and so forth. So that's what qualifying is all about. Usually in different leagues, you do short qualifying. So short qualifying, you have 20 drivers, 18 minutes, and all 20 of them go for pole. No one gets knocked out. But obviously, a few leagues do it different. They like short or long qualifying. Depends if we can do the timing or not. Indigo, do you have any driver cards? I don't like them, but don't have time to ask for that. What do you mean by that? Do we mean like predictions, like who's going to win, who's going to finish in 5th? Is anybody get the fastest lap? Is that what you mean? It's like a bingo card type shit. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but if I do have a driver card, I must say that one of the LP drivers will get a pole. Sometimes as well, this is my own channel, so in other channels you don't really swear. I don't really swear during commentary either, Jake. I never do, but it is my channel, and I know a lot of Dutch people swear as well, so I can do what I want on this channel. But anyways, one of the LP drivers is about to start a flying lap. It's Matthias. Matthias, the Dutchman, comes towards turn 1, hits the brakes as we make our way down towards 4th gear. Some people like to take 3rd, then upshifted to 4th, but as we make our way through turn 2 and turn 3, look at that, nice uses of the curve. So these drivers, despite being tricky conditions, damp conditions on the soft compound tyres, are still able to use those curves as we make our way now towards turn 4, turn 5 and turn 6. Look at that, look at the speed he's carrying through there, revving out in 5th gear as we make our way now towards the left hander, taking a very acute angle, not so wider than I thought it would be as we make our way out of turn 8 and turn 9 we go. DRS enabled then for this second straight. Got a mate from school who works for Williams now. His name is on the side of the car that has a Union Jack on it, made out of names. Oh yeah, that sounds very interesting, Jake. I'll be very glad to work with Williams, but I don't think I'll do a good job as a mechanic. But if your mate works for Williams as a mechanic, I feel so sorry for him, because Williams in the last 5 races have smashed up their cars. Franco Colapinto and Alex Albon have really destroyed their cars as well, especially in Brazil. They had to repair 3 times Alex Albon and Franco Colapinto's cars, and in Las Vegas when Colapinto crashed as well. So I feel so sorry for Williams, but Williams to have done a fantastic job. They need a pay rise for all the hard work they do. And now we come towards turn 17 for the Alpine driver off Matthias, who is Belgium, as we make our way out of the corner. Throttle on throttle once again, no signs of wheel spin. Here he is towards the line. The benchmark into beat is a 28.1, and Silo goes into P2. Not the quickest times we've seen so far, so could they be in a used set of soft compound tyres? I'm not quite sure why they would do that, because they've got plenty of softs left, considering they made it through on one set in Q1 and Q2. Or B, the track conditions are worsening.
I think the track conditions are getting worse, because 1.2 seconds is quite a big gap, especially when no one else is getting anywhere near the times we have seen so far in this session. So the rain is getting worse every session. So 28 is now the times we're in. With the 2 Alpines, they're still quite easily on the front row with 3/10 to the Williams of Kick. As we now look at Eric around the final corner, he's going to cross the line and finish the lap, but it's not a competitive lap time. He must have had some sort of incident on his lap. 1:37 is nowhere near the time he should be. And Geitenkaas, P6, 4 thousandths behind Lucas. And the only one yet to the lap time is Fire. I think he's not on lap.
Well, the Ferrari has just given him a slipstream, but Mike pulled out too late and went on wing. So he's in the session still, but that was a very weird slipstream there for Fireblaze. But here he is then out of turn number 13, turn number 60 we go. The left-hander, close to the wall. By the way, guys, I am still ill, so apologies about me spluttering and stuttering and coughing all over the place. My commentary is a lot better than this, so wait till I'm 100% better again. Just a word for those guys here. Look at that, wobble along, go to the final corner, another snap oversteer as well. Here he is towards the line. What can Fireblaze do as he makes his way towards the finish line? It's going to be P7 with a 28.7. 1 thousandths away from Heiken Haas, despite a slipstream there from his teammate.
Very, very closely. P4 to P7, all in the 28.7s, and Lucas, Geitenkaas and Fireblaze all separated by just 5 thousandths of a second. So despite these tricky conditions, it's still as close as ever. But like we've seen in Q1 and Q2, the Alpines are still looking out the front row. Matthias on pole position, ahead of Silo by a few hundredths of a second. With 6 minutes remaining in the session, Eric goes across the line. He's lap time only at 29.7. That's going to put him in P10, a couple of tenths behind Robbie Jacobs, who is not having a great session either. He's P9, he has been higher up so far in this session, in this qualifying. He's P9 behind the two Ferraris, 6 minutes to go. Are we going to see a change at the front? I think it's still going to be Alpine at the end of this session, isn't it?
It is indeed. Both Alpines are looking incredibly strong as well. Talk about Alpine as well. For those people that don't know, Franco Colapinto has just signed on a multi-year deal as a reserve and test driver, and apparently Jack Doohan has only... Can't you say Matthias? But can't you say Matthias because you guys see Matthias? Or Matthias. Is it Matthias or Matthias? Because I know a few Dutch people are called Matthias. One of my Dutch mates are called Matthias. And a Norwegian driver I commentate over is called Matthias. So it gets confusing from time to time, but if you want me to say Matthias, I'll say Matthias, don't worry. It's just that some names, some of them are the same, but pronounced differently depending where they're from. So if it is Matthias, I apologise about that one. AMS Matthias, Alien Motorsport Matthias, is on pole.
It is Matthias, according to the chat, so I'm going to call him Matthias. Matthias, something like that. 5 minutes remaining, and he is the man currently on pole position. But it's between him and his teammate, I think, for pole position, like we've seen all qualifying long. Alpine domination in qualifying, but can they convert it into a 1-2 in the race? It's not as easy as it sounds. Under 5 minutes to go, and Ryan is on an outlap. So is Robert Jacob. So these two are going out quite early in the session to start their second laps. Yeah, very interesting to see. But let's see what they can do. Ryan is at the moment in P4. He has been in the top 3, so it's going to be very impressive if he's going to be able to match those Alpines. But I think he can still find some time. Let's see. Robert Jacobs is going to start his lap now, and Ryan is right behind him.
Here he is then, Rabbi Jacob starting a flying lap. The man that got through to Q2 on a set of medium compound tyres. I expected more from him, but here he is then as he dives down towards turn 1 there. Look at that. Nice rotation going through turn 1 and turn 2. Controlled sliding. Drifting sometimes the best way to go, depending if you control it or not. As we make our way out of turn 3 then with a bit of overtake available to him as he makes his way now towards turn 4. Flicking in 6th gear, and also this one as well. It's another slow speed, it's another high speed corner. It's so difficult to... Well, it's so easy to mess up, I must say, as we make our way through turn 7 and turn 8. We go on the throttle once again with the DRS enabled very shortly. That white line there is the DRS detection point. You've got to be under a second for that, as the DRS is enabled. By the way, Jake, Malum, this rear wing open here, that means it's DRS, and you can use it in qualifying whenever. But in the race, you've got to be 1 second behind a driver, or under a second behind a driver to open the DRS and overtake, because it's a mechanism tool to overtake somebody with more straight line speed. Or you can use it as a defense mechanism if you're in a DRS train. Either way it works. But anyways, here we are then into turn 16. DRS can be overpowered sometimes, or sometimes DRS is not effective at all, like Monaco. It's very totally pointless in Monaco, as the DRS then is enabled on the back of the rear wing as he makes his way now towards turn 17. Dutch people, I have learned Dutch, but I haven't really studied it since like a few years ago. As you look at that downshifted to 8 to second in about a few corners there, about a few seconds. Look at that massive slide once again. Here comes Robbie Jacobs towards the line he goes. It's only P9, but he does improve on that 28.9 there. The gap between 4th and 9th is separated by under a 10th, so it's so close between 4th and 9th.
He misses out on P8 by a single thousandth of a second, and by the way, Ryan has he's backed up on his lap because he has invalidated his lap on the exit of turn 8. But he is going to try again. 2 minutes left on the clock. Everyone is out on track, including the two Alpines. They're on an outlap.
It looks like Kick is going for a second outlap, so a second outlap to just warm the tyres there. And let's see if that's effective. We haven't really seen it much from anybody else before, but we'll see if it works. Maybe he might be giving a tow to his teammate, but both Williams actually are doing the same thing. So this is very interesting. Could this be the way to go for qualifying? Just giving more tyre temperature as well, and getting into the groove of things, making sure the tyres are good enough for that one lap. Both Alpines are coming out once again, and I definitely think that Alpines can get a pole. What can Kick and Lucas do? This surprised me a bit of Kick and Lucas, because they dominated Australia, although Silo was in the way with a penalty. Silo will be looking for revenge as well. There are the Alpines, Line Stern. Let's see which one of those two can take pole. It's a Dutch versus Belgium versus the Englishman there for 1-2 with the Dutchman behind. Let's see which one of them will take pole. Then here he is then on board with the Alpine Silo. The Brits comes down towards turn 1 as he looks to his left. breaking at the 100-meter board into 4th. I like as well that all these drivers preferentials, because some people take it through 3rd, some people take it through 4th. It all depends on your preference and the setup of the car as well. Here he is then, into turn 4, turn 5 we go, used a lot of curve there, where Charles Leclerc crashed back in 2023 when he ruined his qualifying. As we make our way now towards turn 7 and turn 8 we go. Nice use of the curve there, using all the road on the exit as he could get away with. Whilst in the comment section, these people are talking about the differences between English, Dutch and American, where English people say pants and Americans say what do they say? Oh, Americans
Trousers,
say pants. Right? Americans say pants, and English say trousers.
Trousers, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they do. It's very weird how the language works these days. But yeah, Dutch and English, I think, are similar. I've seen some similar words. I've learned Dutch a few years ago. It wasn't that difficult, but I did give up, so my Dutch hasn't really expanded that much. But it is good enough just for basics to understand. However, Silo is 2/10 down in the middle sector. Matthias is 6/10 down, 2.6 seconds down. So both Alpines, unfortunately, will not improve. What about Kick? Kick in the first sector. 2/10 down in the first sector is Kick. Ryan's back in the pit lane. Lucas is making his way now towards turn 7. The treacherous out there, isn't it, Milan?
Yeah, it is. Nobody's improving right now. Every driver is not on an improvement at all. So Lucas 1.5 tenths down. Geitegaas is 1/10 down. Kick is not improving either. So it looks like this might just be the starting order then for the top 10. Fireblaze is also 8 tenths down. Mike has invalidated. Robbie Jacobs, I'm not sure he's improving either. It seems to be that the conditions have worsened over these past few minutes.
Het goed, dankjewel. En met jou, Space K for real. Thank you very much for asking. So yeah, like you said, all 10 drivers then will not improve. Qualifying's got worse over the conditions. The worst part of qualifying was towards the end of Q3. So it's Matthias on pole ahead of Silo in P2, Kick in P3 ahead of Ryan, Lucas in P5. Last week's race winner, currently P5, Heiken Haas. Amazing time there from the RB driver in P6. Fireblaze, very quiet in this qualifying session. Both Ferraris have, as Robbie Jacobs in P9 and Eric in P10. Now, I'm going to go to toilet because I'm busting for the toilet. So I'll see you guys very shortly. However, Jake, thank you so much for spending your time. I know you're not an F1 fan, but thank you so much for spending your time here. I really do appreciate it, and your support as well. Nice to talk to you after not seeing you for 2 years since your house party smoking the ganja.
Anyway, that is the end then of qualifying. It is an Alpine front row lockout like we have seen throughout Q1 and Q2. They have been the quickest all qualifying long, and it's no different there in Q3. Mathies is on pole position by a few hundredths of a second over Silo, and then it's Kick and Lucas. They're in P3 and P5 for the Williams team, who dominated last week's race, and Ryan is right in between the two of them. He will line up in P4. So we look at Robbie Jacobs, only good enough for P9 in the end. Unfortunately, nobody was able to improve on their final lap, so this is the end then of qualifying. Mathies on pole ahead of Silo, Kick, Ryan, Lucas, Geitegaas, Fireblaze, Mike in his final race, in his final qualifying session, P8, a few hundreds behind his teammate, has done quite a good job indeed. Robbie Jacobs P9 and AMS Eric, he will round out the top 10 a few tenths behind. But yeah, very close indeed between P4 and P7 like we have seen. But this is going to be a very interesting race. The Alpines are very quick in qualifying, but are they going to able to convert it into a 1-2 finish? That is the question, because qualifying pace is not always everything. You can be quick in qualifying, but if you can't manage it during the race, you're going to have some trouble. And we're going to find out. It is dry in the race, even though everyone was on slicks on qualifying. This time it's actually dry and actually slick conditions, so at least at the start of the race. And I'm not sure what the strategy is around here. I'm going to have to ask Jamie. He usually knows these things.
Yeah, so the strategy should be mediums to hards, I think, because usually the mediums are the best way to go first, because mediums to hards, mediums die off very quickly. And once the mediums start to fade away, that's when the tyres get very hot. You start standing around the mini compound tyres. But people do the alternate strategy in this game, hards to mediums. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, because the mini compound tyres later on, you don't have to grip towards the end to catch those hard runners who are doing the alternate strategy from soft mediums to hards. Obviously, we won't see the soft compound tyres. I'll be very surprised if we do so. But no soft compound tyres should be introduced in this race. By the way, Jake, as well, to explain the tyres, you get 3 tyres: soft, medium and hard. Obviously it's self-explanatory, so I don't need to explain what the soft, medium and hard are, but the softest compound tyres, the one that fade away the most. Mediums, mid-range tyres, and hards, the longevity of those tyres could go a long way. And the hard compound tyres is a very good tyre because when they die they don't slide around as much. You still got some grip left in them to take them towards the end and try and extend the stint. So that's your tyres for you. Inters and wets. Those two are used for the damp conditions, inters, and wets, obviously, for the wet conditions. But if you're confused, Jake, why you saw rain and the soft compound tyres, that's because the track wasn't damp enough or wet enough to merit the inters. The soft compound tyres still had enough grip left in them. The heat cycle was still there. The grip was still there. So that explains why the people on the soft compound tyres were able to do that and still set some competitive lap times. The light's about to go out. No formation. Like we get to business race once away. And we are underway for the second race of the season in Miami. Massive wheel spin there. Here comes Silo on the inside. In towards turn 1 we go. It's 2 by 2 as we head down towards turn 1. Silo takes the lead, but Matthias is still on the inside. But Silo has the racing line. Benank is right behind him as well. Into P3 he goes. The top 17 get away surely as we now make our way towards turn 4 and turn 5. They all got away unscathed. Fireplace gets ahead of Heik and Haas as he puts the pressure on Lucas in front of him. But so far a good start there for Silo, looking for redemption after getting a 3-second time penalty at the Australian Grand Prix. Robbie Jacobs has lost a few places there. He's down to P10 as the guys ahead of him, Eric and Heikenhaus, managed to find a way through. But here we are then on lap 1. The Alpines hot pursuit of each other with Ryan Benank right to the back. The side by side now as we go down towards turn 11 we go. Ryan has the inside line. Can he make the move stick? But Matthias is still there on the outside as he has the inside line for the next corner. But a bit of oversteer the exit there. And that was very quick. I had to be very quick, sorry about that, because I wasn't prepared. I thought there was a formation lap like last time.
Yeah, the lights went out immediately, but it was a brilliant start from Silo. Got the traction off the line and he was able to move ahead of his teammate already into turn 1. So the two Alpines roasting away in front, and they were able to keep Ryan behind for now, as it's difficult to overtake in that final sector. But yeah, the two Alpines lead. Ryan has got ahead of the Williams of Kick, so he's now ahead of both of the Williams, and both the Ferraris have moved up one position as well, because it's Geitegaas who's had a very poor start, and that might be because he is on the hard compound tyre and everyone ahead of him is on the mediums.
However, an Aston Martin is lacking an end play. That is Reiki, unfortunately, who has lost his end play, as we saw 4 abreast going down towards turn 11 between two McLarens. And Reiki is really hitting the back of Tim there into turn 1, trying to edge him forwards. But Tim is an obstacle in the way, as Tim is right to the back of his teammate around. So both McLarens on the same strategy, as Tim is moving left and right as well. So not really happy about that. But Kick in P4 has lost the DS already. So the top 3 are pulling away. But however, the two Williams drivers who finished first and second at the Australian Grand Prix are dropping backwards. The gap is 1.1 seconds already, so the top 3 have really checked out. And here comes the two Alpines, then they're going to both swap places. Could this be a reserve? So not reserve. Could this be a reverse of the Australian Grand Prix where two Ferraris work together? Now it's two Alpines working together.
It seems like it, because the two Williams are already at the back foot, so they're going to have to replicate what the Williams boys did back in Australia, in Melbourne, and they seem to be working together quite nicely, but they have to be mindful of Ryan, who's right behind, and if any of them makes a mistake, Ryan can, he can counter on that, he can get the position away, so they're going to have to work together and be very mindful of their moves on track, as Sido's once again going up the inside, as they go wheel to once again, as Sido retakes the lead and at the end of lap 2, but they are fighting a bit too much right now, I must say.
Well, Lucas is ahead of Kick now, his own teammate, so could that be, let's say Lucas is now ahead of Kick, can he catch up towards the top 3? Because the top 3 are right together, but maybe they need to be careful about how they're going to battle this down towards turn 1, because they're bunched up right on top of each other, the top 3. And if he's, look at that, you can see that really hesitant going down towards turn 3 there was Ryan. But now he's in a place, he's in a bit of a predicament, is Ryan, because the two Alpines are going to work together. It's 2 versus 1. How is he going to play this out, Ryan Benank, in P3? Will he just sit behind the two Alpines, watch them squabble away, try and pull away from 4th downwards? Because in the first stint, it's all about saving tyres. And I don't think they need it. They're already winning. But things could change, Things could change in a matter of seconds. We've seen it plenty of times where the safety car could really change things here in Miami, as we've seen before back in 2022, when Sebastian Vettel and Mick Schumacher made contact down at turn 1, when the two are two very good friends indeed. As we saw with Max Verstappen as well, where the safety car caught him out, as Lando Norris got a massive overcut on him, and ultimately led him on to win the race.
I think ideally Ryan wants to get a get in between the two Alpines, so the Alpines can't work together. So if he can find himself ahead of Seidel or ahead of Matisse, depends on who is ahead at the moment, I think he can have a very good race and can manage it throughout. But the Alpines are still fighting it out, as we see. Ryan is still very much very close behind. Lucas hasn't quite been able to close the gap. It's a beautiful moment as well, going into the final corner on the braking. 1.0 second, and he hasn't quite got the DRS just yet. 1.0 as Kick seems to be struggling in the early stages of this race.
He does indeed. Struggling for grip. Tim has been overtaken by Robbie Jacobs, so Robbie Jacobs has put himself into P11, but Tim is going to squeeze around the outside in towards turn 1. Not really a place to do that. Lucky he didn't get put into a wall. Neither driver got put into a wall there, because we saw what happened towards Kevin Magnussen and Logan Sargent when they both crashed into the wall together, and that caused the yellow flag that led Lando Norris to win the Grand Prix. But Lucas now almost a DRS race, but Ryan's made a big mistake at turn 8. He had massive wheel spin on the exit, so that could put Lucas in a place to get DRS. And now the two Alpines of Silo and Matthias, they're swapping places. Silo's back into first place. This is what Alpine are going to do throughout the whole race. They're trying to keep Ryan behind in P3, whilst those two swap places for P1 and P2, and that will happen throughout the whole race as well, until the last few laps, when both Alpines will decide to fight each other and go for the race win. But so far, they're working well together in the first stint. In the second stint, things could change. However, Lucas in P4 is not able to get back in DRS range. So ever since Kick lost DRS, Lucas has not been able to recover and try and get himself back in that DRS range. I would love for both Williams and Fireblaze and Mike to get back in DRS. Here comes Matthias again on his teammate, and this is lovely swapping. They're even dropping Ryan on the side of DRS as well. So both Alpines working hard together. This is a fantastic race so far. Great teamwork from both of them to pull away from the rest of the field and not fight in most obscure places as we head down towards turn 1. Salah's back in front again.
Indeed, and Brian seems to be starting to stay with the Alpines. He's low on ERS, he has been throughout this lap, so he's having to use a lot of ERS to stay with the Alpines. The gap has grown to about 9/10 on that final sector. He's now back down to 6/10, and they're totally dropping Lucas, by the way. He is nowhere near anymore. 1.8, he seems to be battling it out with his own teammate and the two Ferraris in the league of their own. So the top 3 running away with it. Ryan, once again, very low on ERS, and we're going to see Matisse go for the move again. Silo definitely has the ERS advantage, but yeah, these Alpines, they are going to be working together for the entirety of this first stint. And then when the pit stops come around, things could change. But that is for a later cause. As Kick gets past his teammates, so the Williams are going to be working back together to try and catch up to the cars in front, but they seem to be a little bit too quick for them at the moment.
Yes, the gap is 2 seconds between Ryan and Kick then, so once you're out of DRS range, it is so difficult to catch up. There is no way, because you've got 3 DRS zones around here, so ultimately you lose out on all 3 zones, unless of course the guy behind you uses you as a slipstream provider and slingshots. It's like they want to slingshot each other past, but they're not able to catch up towards the top 3. The top 3 have got pure pace and therefore pull away from the rest of the field. It's early stages, we never know if safety car could come out in this Grand Prix. We've seen plenty of times. Oh, look at that, Matthias in P2 has a massive snap, and the back of the car just stepping on him as Gijs is in the chat. As Gijs says Williams going to win, and your prediction there is highly optimistic.
By the way, Geitenkaas into the pit lane. He started on hards, and at the end of lap 4 he's retired from the session. Geitenkaas is out.
It hasn't got the race pace mentality, unfortunately, the racecraft mentality to stay in the race, because it's a long way to go, and we'll see then how that affects the race, because the RBs at the Grand Prix, Sachet Hood has been left out there by himself now as we head on the straight. Tim's retired, it's not on the track. This could be a safety car. A safety car has been deployed and he's crashed, but where? I can't see it because the comment section are popping in.
Turn 4 and turn 5 is where he crashed. He hit the wall somewhere, I think. One of the wheels was missing, but yeah, Tim has crashed out, and that is the safety car deployed. So that has brought Williams back in contention. This is what they needed. This is not what Alpine and Ryan needed, but yeah, safety car out on lap 6 as Tim has crashed. And by the way, Mike has gone off track and he's lost the position to both Fireblaze and Eric. Not sure what has happened there, as he went deep in turn 11 where he went off in qualifying as well. So had a big of a moment here in his race, and now Eric lets him back pass through.
That's quite interesting then, but to look at Ryan right behind. What's going to happen now? Are these guys go to pit onto a set of hard compound tyres. I know it's early, but you can really extend your stint on the hard compound tyres because they can go towards the end. You've got to manage. Oh, look at that. Matthias almost in the back of Silo there. What are they going to do? It's going to be a double Alpine start, by the way. So Matthias will lose out big time. Save for Lucas. Oh, it's so close as Matthias almost in the back of his teammate going in towards the pit lane there. But every single body on the medium compound tyres are pitting. But for the people who have got so close to their teammates will lose out big time. So Ryan will split both Alpines in the pit lane, and a few people will jump up the other two with people doing double stacks. That's really hurt the people who are right behind the teammates. Unfortunately, you can't predict when the safety car comes out because that's just the game of. But Mummy Nick has gone through up into P3, so he decided not to pit, but he still rejoins right behind Ryan as well, and Kick as well, so he was able to jump those guys in front of him. As what's happened there? Do you know what? This is what happened to me. I caught up the safety car out of the pit lane and almost hit the back of it and overtook it. I think I got disqualified, so look at these guys. Didn't get themselves disqualified, otherwise that would have been the race ended very early.
Yeah, indeed, it's very tricky on this game. If you overtake a safety car, you're going to get disqualified almost immediately. But yeah, both of the Saubers have stayed out. Those are the only drivers who have not pitted onto the safety car. And Matisse, he is dropped down to P5 virtually, behind Fireblaze, behind Kick, behind Ryan. And this is exactly what Ryan needed. He is now in between the Alpines, and he's also got a few cars in between the two of them. So Matisse is now suddenly on the back foot, and an Alpine 1-2 is certainly not as likely as it was before the safety car. So he's going to have to do some catching up, overtaking in this race to try and get back into position. But Silo, he might be on there for a second win, I was going to say, but on track he won it in Australia, but not in the end. But yeah, Silo and Ryan are going to be fighting it out. And what can Kick do with this new opportunity? He was struggling early on the mediums. Can he do? Can he be a bit quicker on the hards? That's the question we're going to get an answer to in a few moments' time. I think the safety car will stay out for at least one more lap because that is the limit on this game. But yeah, Silo leads out of Ryan and Kick. Mummy Nick in P4 on the mediums. Interesting strategy from Sauber, but they have to try. They were at the back anyway.
Right, so Jake, Kick has pitted. So if you look where it says hard 0 laps, that means they've pitted. Where it says Mummy Nick 6 laps, so he hasn't pitted. That's why he catapulted up the order. You're probably confused because you saw Kick, down in P5, P6, thinking how did he get to third place? So what it is that the two teammates who are close together, if they both go in the pit lane, one has to wait behind the other because they can only service one car, not two. So whoever's the leader out of the two teammates can go in the pit lane first, get the car serviced, and they'll lose out to people behind because they don't have to double stack unless, of course, the teammates are behind them. That's what a double stack means. If you go watch on YouTube, go back towards 2019, search up on YouTube F1 2019 Chinese Grand Prix, and look at how Mercedes double stack the cars because they didn't need to, but they did. And sometimes the double stack can go really wrong, especially to 2008 Silverstone Grand Prix where both BAR Hondas did a double stack and it went terribly wrong. Even though I think Rubens Barrichello got a podium that day with Nick Heidfeld when Lewis Hamilton won that race. But yeah, double stack can go horribly wrong. You've got to be very good at it indeed, like Red Bull mechanics, Mercedes and Ferrari, or sometimes Ferrari strategies not get it wrong, not get it right either. But when was the last time a double stack did go right?
Actually, can't quite remember the. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that, but I do remember Mercedes' flawless double stack in 2019. But yeah, it must have been Ferrari somewhere in the 2020s earlier on. They were absolutely butchering their pit stops back then. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. To be honest, can't quite remember when the last time something went wrong like that. Yeah,
it's just that 2008 Brazil is when it went really wrong. But that's it. So yeah. It's on YouTube right now. I put in F1 double stack on YouTube and it says Mercedes double pit stop masterclass 2019 and it's got 14 million views on YouTube. So both Mercedes got told to box, and sometimes they've got to leave a bit of distance as well. They can't be so close together because if they do that, that means Bottas will have to stop right behind Hamilton. But Hamilton went in, pitted, got out. Bottas was able to get in without waiting behind. Sometimes you've got to wait behind your teammate, but if you can get in without waiting, that's a double bonus indeed. But here we are then, the top 15 drivers. The safety car is coming in. Silo now leads the Grand Prix. His teammate is down in P6 thanks to that double stack, which dropped him down in the order. Do you know what? I've never really done this before in commentary where I've had to explain things because my mate, I don't really have, all my mates are F1 fans, whereas Jake Mallam's not an F1 fan at all. He doesn't like F1. And he doesn't know anything about it, so I have to explain. But the safety car's in, and Silo gets racing once again. And here he is as he heads down towards turn 1. As Matthias is fighting Fireblaze as we head down towards breakers. There we go. Here comes Eric up the inside, in towards turn 1 he goes. And he overtaken up to P7, up towards first place, well, 7th place he goes in turn 1. I know nothing, sorry. Yeah, don't worry about it, Jake. If you want any, if you want to know anything else, then let me know, because I can answer every single question. I like doing this.
Sasha with a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. He must have overtaken then before the start-finish line or something like that.
Yeah, that's the only reason you get a 10-second penalty. But Matthias now, it has overtaken Mummy Nick. He gets dropped down the order like a stone because of those medium compound tyres. Here comes Fireblaze side by side with the Sauber driver as we head down toward. It could be a double overtake. Here comes Fireblaze, but the Alpine is a bit later on the brakes there. He'll go wide, but claims the racing line. But Fireblaze tried to force a move on Matthias there. Where is Mike? Mike is at the P9 behind Lucas. Those two lost out big time because Mummy Nick and Eric are ahead of them as those two down there on the hard compound tyres faster away for P8. But hopefully, for our sake, in the race, that the DRS does not get split. As now, here we are on the back straight once again. Ryan Bernanke can see the Alpine in full sight. The other Alpine is down at P4, but over to a Fireblaze as we head down towards the heavy breaker zone. No moves being made down here. We'll wait for the DRS when it activates on the next lap.
I think that's going to be the strategy, but Ryan did go for the move last lap into turn 11. He sent it up the inside, but wasn't quite able to put it off as Ticey has spun coming out of the final corner. His strategy hasn't worked, and I think he's going to go into the pit lane. So a bad day from Sauber gets even worse as the Sauber driver has spun. As we see Ivan and Sasha Goed going with the wheel into turn 1. Bit of contact between the two of them. Sasha stays ahead as Ivan almost spins around and loses the position to the Mercedes for good measure.
There's a few more changes because Mummy Nick is getting dropped like a stone here. He's getting overtaken by people left, right and centre here because Lucas now sneaks up the inside. In towards turn 8 he goes. Mike is next to take on Mummy Nick, but unfortunately that strategy hasn't paid off there for the Sauber driver. And here we are, the DRS enabled. Ryan can see the Alpine. Which way is he going to go? It's going to be the left hand side, down the inside as he makes his way down towards turn 11. He now claims the lead of the Grand Prix for the first time in this race after spend. Oh, it was that contact between the two there. Look at that. He just almost lost the car in turn 12 as we head down towards turn 13, 14, 15 and 16 there. In the chicane we go as we hop, skip and jump over the curb. But the guys behind love DRS. And let's see, could Ryan be in a bit of trouble because they're all bunched up? Could he get overtaken by 2 or more cars? Here we are then with the DRS wide open. Will Silo take the lead of the Grand Prix, or will he just stick behind and wait? Look at that, he just downshifted to 7th gear there as he will stay behind for the time being. He knows how to play this game as Robbie Jacobs gets ahead of Nick as well, who's really struggling for grip on those medium compound tyres. Eric and Lucas going side by side, but Lucas has lost it. Here comes Mike now. He goes up into P7. Was there contact between Eric and Lucas? I think so. And now Mike puts himself into P7 there as the top 3 are ever so close. Here comes Robbie Jacobs now, trying to go around the outside. Remember, he's gone on the hard compound tyres, started on the hard, sorry. Now he's on the medium compound tyres. So Robbie Jacobs, unfortunately, might have to do a 2-stop strategy because those tyres will definitely not make it towards the end, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, Lucas went way too deep into the final corner. That's why he lost those position. He was going for the move on Eric, but he outbraked himself completely. And on the exit, of course, at much lower speed, going out of the corner, which saw the Aston Martin, Ferrari and Red Bull pass him. So while the other Williams is on a podium position, Lucas now down to P9. As we see a change of lead again, Seidel retakes the lead on lap 11 as he gets ahead of Ryan at the end of the DRS straight.
Oh, Ryan gets a 3-second time penalty in the same place where he lost it on the last lap. So that's a very weird place to get a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to be big consequences towards the end as well. We saw what happened at the Australian Grand Prix when Silo picked up a 3-second time penalty. Silo won the Grand Prix, but unfortunately dropped backwards as it was both Williams who got 1-2. But so, unfortunately for him, at a disadvantage. So Jake, what that means is if you cut the corners, you know what that means. He has a penalty. The black and white flag next to their names, Sasha Hood and Ryan Bernanke. That means they've got a penalty. That's 3 seconds, and it's for going off track. You can get penalties for hits the back of somebody or speed in the pit lane. That's a 10-second penalty. That's a brutal penalty, that is, as Mike is right the back at Eric then. So round 2 between those two. Is it clean this time? Here we are with the DRS enabled. Will Mike go the inside? No. Eric is a bit late to the brakes there, so he stays in P6. But Mike will be furious with this one because he's been dropped away from the DRS after being in DRS range in the first stint. his teammates flown away, and now he's been left in the dust as well. So is Lucas in P9. Expecting a lot more from Lucas, the man that won the Australian Grand Prix last week, but so far not been his race. But Kick, however, this time has the advantage because Lucas was quicker than Kick, but I think Kick got ahead of him just before the safety car came out, hence why now he's down in P9. Here is Matthias then, right to the back of Kick. DRS for all four of them there as we head down towards the breaker zone. And here he is up the inside. It's a late move. Is there contact? Oh. No. Kick sees him coming. He turns out the steering there as he makes his way down towards turn 13. We go side by side. And let's see which one of them will bail out. It is Kick who bails out. But Matthias so easily could have wiped out Kick there.
Absolutely, that was some great avoiding action, great awareness there from Kick, seeing the Alpine going up the inside. He could have spun around if he just turned in, but yeah, Kick saw that coming and he steered away, which was a very good thing as he kept his race alive. But Matthias, because of that, has got the position though. Kick drops down to P4, but he's still very much in his race, and that is the most important thing right now. The race is still very long, 17 laps to go, so Kick down to P4, but still is very much, the race is not lost at all as we go on to lap 13.
What a brilliant move there from Matthias. I thought for 1 second he'd wipe out Kick in towards turn 11, but Kick acknowledged him. He saw him coming, he had to turn the steering wheel, gave him space, and Matthias moved up into P3 with fantastic overtakes, overtaking Fireblaze, now Kick. Next target is Ryan, and once again Ryan finds himself in an Alpine battle. This has been a track for Alpine so far. They've really gelled in this track, and they've been so quick at the whole event, in qualifying and in the race as well. But the question is though, which Alpine to be first? Would be Silo. Silo's looking for revenge after getting a 3-second time penalty at the Australian Grand Prix. So, second time here in Miami, could he be lucky? But Matthias will also have something to say about that one as well.
Yeah, he will. Matthias is absolutely on the charts as Ryan once again has a moment under braking into turn 11. We've seen a lot of race drivers struggling with the braking sound, probably the brake bias as yellow flags are out, and that is Taisi once again with a moment. But Matthias, he's making moves in this race. He was P6 at the safety car restart a few laps later, and he's back into P3, and he's dropping Kick behind a bit as well, as he is struggling once again like he was in the early stages of this race where he dropped off a bit as well. But Matthias has closed the gap now to the top two. He can see his teammate again, but he still has got a Haas right in between the two of them.
And once he dispatches the Haas, will it be a good Alpine battle? Will he keep it nice and clean as Robbie Jacobs goes up into P6 ahead of Mike on the mini compound tyres, but he hits the wall in the exit there. Look at that, massive understeer as the car was reluctant to turn in, and now Robbie Jacobs under massive pressure on Mike once again, with the DRS wide open. Will he go over the inside in towards turn 1? No, he stays behind for the time being, but we're almost halfway there in this Grand Prix. It's been a good Grand Prix so far, plenty more to come, but Fireblaze this time has been dropped out of the DRS race, so the Ferrari driver has really struggled in this Grand Prix. Both Ferraris have, and they've been dropped out. Last time we raced around here in USA, it was a Ferrari 1-2, but so far the advantage goes towards Alpine. A stellar performance so far, but we've still got a long way to go, and anything could happen. The most important part is not to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Silo learned it in Australia, really learn from his mistakes and rectify that, and therefore come out on top. We're about to find out, but he knows Ryan behind has got a 3-second time penalty. What's Ryan going to do in this Grand Prix? He's just hoping that the guys around him pick up a 3-second time penalty to be on a level playing field. Once again, Mike and Eric going side by side again. Where are they? Down towards 13 and 14 we go. That is Eric coming to the inside, but Mike comes back down the inside. He stays in P7. When he go a bit wide in towards the chicane, no, he stays behind. Burton off the DRS again on the back of Robbie Jacobs in 6th place there. I feel sorry for the Red Bull driver because those mediums, if he can make it towards the end, will be hanging off a cliff, unfortunately for him. The safety car came at the worst possible time, and he switched over to the mini compound tyres that might not last towards the end, so he might have to pay the price when it comes. Oh, down the inside goes Lucas now. It's all his contact, and there's barged him out of the way, but luckily kept it on the circuit as Eric stays in P8.
Yeah, just a bit too far back on the braking zone, but managed to keep both of them alive. It was a different case a few laps ago where Lucas went off on the same spot where he overshot it. So this time they are still running in the same order as they were. As Mominik finally goes into the pit lane at the end of lap 14. His mediums are completely finished, to say the least, as he has been on these tires since the start of the race. Yeah, the strategy for Sauber, it's not working at all, is it? He's going on to the softs. Well, he's going to have to pit again if that's the case.
It has indeed. Here comes Matthias now, side by side with the Haas. They both have the DRS, but Matthias gets boxed in. And here comes Ryan now, side by side with the other Alpine, as he puts his Haas down the inside, but he can't quite get it done. Silo's just a bit late to the brakes there, but look at Matthias looking to go around the outside, but he can't quite do so. The Haas is attacking and defending as much as he can, as he stays in P2. I thought for 1 second Ryan would overtake Silo, but he's just waiting patiently in second place there to get the DRS on the back of Silo. Matthias is getting impatient now. He wants to overtake his teammate. First of all, he's got to dispatch the Haas as the DRS enabled once again on the back of the Alpine driver. You can see the flashing light at the back of that car indicating he's saving ERS there as we make our way down towards turn 17. No moves being made, but Kick, however, in P4 has been dropped out of the DRS range, so the top three, once again like in the first stint, are left alone to fight it out. This could be a mega scrap indeed, but unfortunately Ryan Benank has picked himself up by 3 second penalty and therefore put at a big disadvantage.
Magnificent fighting around the front. Ryan, he has nothing to lose at the moment with a 3 second time penalty, same as Taiji picks up right now. He's in between the Alpines, but he's desperately trying to hold on to his position in between these guys so he can manage the tires and the ERS, but he's under massive pressure from behind as Matthijs is constantly pushing to try and get past, as he wants to be in front of Ryan so he can work together with his team, and he's once again having a run with the help of ERS. He's putting alongside, and Matthijs, is he going to get the job done or not? Ryan is not using any ERS at all, and Matthijs has got the position quite easily then. He's back up into second place and he's put himself ahead of the Haas and now right behind his teammate again.
Fantastic job from Matthias in P2 there, who got a disadvantage at the first safety car, having to do a double stack. Lost places, and now he's back up to P7. Look at this scrap down towards turn 11 between Lucas, Robbie Jacobs and Eric there, and Lucas gets ahead, but Robbie Jacobs sliding to the corner, and Eric is barging his way through as they go side by side in a place you don't want to. There's contact again, and the Ghost are doing each other. Robbie Jacobs has lost out as Eric goes through as a Ghost, and he puts himself into P8 as Ivan picks himself up a 3 second penalty. But this is going to get very interesting between the both LP drivers now. First and second is the second race of the season, so it's a brand new reset. No team orders at Alpine. What are they going to do in the last 13 laps of this Grand Prix? Are they keeping it nice and clean? Matthias and Silo probably not close. I don't think they're not in the party with each other because one's on PlayStation, the other one's on PC. So they're not on PlayStation unless they're calling each other from whatever app they're using. But here we are then. It's going to get very interesting now that they're both of them are close together again.
Yeah, if I were them, I would keep working together right now because it's still 12, 13 laps to go. No point in fighting it out just yet. You're gonna have to. Only gonna lose time to the cars behind. So they're gonna have to work together like they did in this first stint. And then when we come to the final few laps, then is when the battle really gonna start between these two. But I think for now they are just gonna try and work together. Matthijs has got the DRS. He is not looking to get past his teammate right now though, and he is gonna stay behind for now. So hopefully they will. Keep the fighting until the latter part of this race, as they will only lose as Matthijs hits the wall on the inside just a little bit, but without any consequences. But the Alpine still out in front, as Eric gets a 3 second time penalty while fighting with Robert, who's still struggling on these mediums. He has been for the past couple of laps. He's dropped away from Lucas. Not sure what's going on between himself and the Aston Martin, by the way. Bit of contact once again between these two.
Yeah, scrapping away quite hard because Lucas is now pulled away from Robbie Jacobs. They've got 2.7 seconds between him and Mercedes almost spun there as well. Fighting with Reiki, those two will continue their fight there for P12 and for P13. But once again on the main straight, it is Silo, Matthias and Ryan, the top three in this Grand Prix. The top three have pretty much shown fantastic pace of the whole event ever since the first stint. A few of them got a disadvantage during the first safety car, as Robbie Jacobs then overtakes Eric once again. And for his sake, hopefully leaves him behind because he's on the older medium compound tyres, of course. We know his medium compound tyres won't last. So I think the medium compound tyres, I think he'll have to pit again to put on a brand new set of mediums or softs, depending how long he's planning to take them. But here we are, then swooping through this left-hander. He's hoping for another safety car because usually sometimes you can get really unlucky in the first safety car, but the pendulum swings back your way in the second safety car. But I don't think those safety cars are going to happen so far because we've got 11 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. And the two Alpines then, first and second, but Matthias is just waiting patiently as he knows there's 11 laps left to go in the Grand Prix, not to put in any rash moves on, just playing the long patient game. It's a high-speed game of chess between these two drivers, but as long as they can keep Ryan Benink in P3, that's all they care about, because these two will probably fight until the last Oh, look at this. Down the inside goes Robbie Jacobs again, and the Aston Martin goes a bit deep as Eric keeps the foot to the floor and stays in P8 ahead of the Red Bull driver, as a van now is right at the back of this battle. Lucas is been released up into P7. The gap between him and Mike is 1.9 seconds. A decent race so far from Mike in P7, but look at the Alpine there, getting so close on the back of his teammate in turn 17, but no moves being made so far. What would you do, Milan? Would you just stay behind your teammates for the whole race until the last few laps?
I definitely would, because there's no point in fighting right now. But some guys that aren't doing that right now is Robert and Eric. They have been fighting it out for the last few laps, and Robert is getting very, very aggressive indeed. Last lap, he almost put Eric into the wall and was weaving aggressively. He's got front wing damage as well, so it's getting very serious between these two. I've been watching them for the past couple of laps, and they've been fighting constantly and barely giving each other any room, as constant contact between these two. So Robert runs wide and loses the position to the McLaren. But coming back to the Alpines, yeah, I would definitely stay behind each other for now, because if they start fighting too much, Ryan can easily slip by again. I'll just stay the fighting until the final few laps. You don't want to ruin your tires as well in these stages of the race. Still 10 laps to go. Ryan is still there, but of course he has still got that 3-second penalty hanging above his head. So at the moment it's between the two Alpines, but if they collide, the opportunity is still very much there for Ryan. So I would just stay behind each other, or swap positions constantly, but not fight too much in order to save the tires. So that's what I would do if I were in the Alpines, as Matthias, with the help of the ERS and ERS, is going to get past his teammate once again and retakes the lead of this race on lap 19.
Matthias retakes the lead of the Grand Prix. Then there is 10 laps left to go in this race. We've got Robbie Jacobs, Eric, and we've got a spinner down there. That's Tyres, where Charles Leclerc spun back in 2023 when he lost his wheel, but Tyres keeps it out of the walls and gets going once again. It's been a wretched race so far for the two Sauber drivers who have really struggled in this Grand Prix. As Sasha Hood gets past Robbie Jacobs, he puts himself as a P10. A decent race so far from Sasha. He started down in P14 and now he's up into P10. Eric has pulled away. Well, it's actually, yeah, he has. Eric has pulled away from his old rival of Robbie Jacobs. Has put the pressure now on the van for P8 and P9. So the mini compound tyres there for Robbie Jacobs start to fade away, because this period of time now, also not to forget to mention, he's got full wind damage. So old tyres and also lack of end plate, as both Alpines swap places once again as he puts himself into first place. The Brit is ahead of the Belgian driver, but the big question is, who is going to be? Is it going to be Silo? Is it going to be Matthias? Are those two going to pick up a 3-second penalty? As Robbie Jacobs has spun out, there's losses for week 2 as he rejoins once again. A VSC has been deployed in this Grand Prix, and I don't think nobody's going to dare go for a pit stop. It is a cheap pit stop. At the same time, is it worth it? Thank you so much, by the way.
I'm not quite sure. Yeah, for a pit stop, it could be, but it's a very big risk, as Mummy Nick has been given a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC, just adding salt to the injury for Kick Sauber in this race. I mean, they haven't got any luck on their side. It's all been going wrong. They're far outside the points. Yeah, very sorry for Sauber, as Robbie Jacobs, his day gets even worse as well. He's lost his front wing. Gets another 3-second time penalty. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him putting into the pit and then retiring on track. In fact, he is already hitting the walls left, right and center, so we're going to have to keep an eye out on this guy.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't ruin or interrupt the race by causing a safety car. But the VSC is out then for Robbie Jacobs, who lost his whole end plate, lost his whole front wing, and he'll be returning to the pit lane. It's been a wretched race because the first safety car put him at a massive disadvantage, because he started the hard compound tyres, and when a safety car comes out that early, the people around you on the mediums can go towards the hards, therefore take them towards the end, whilst you're put at a disadvantage because you're forced to go on the medium compound tyres very early than planned, and therefore you lose a lot of time, because later on the tyres will just start to wear off dramatically and you'll have no grip either. So that first safety car put a big dent into his race, and you can see that he was really struggling too on those all compound tyres as he spun out of turn 8. So the race resumes once again. The top 3 are continue scrapping away, and we'll see then which one of these two will finish in first place. Silo had a big battle with both Ferraris of Fireblades and Finn Hertz, got himself a 3-second time penalty. He did win the race on the track, but the penalty demoted him down. But this time round, he's fighting with his own teammate and the Haasman, and he's under a lot of pressure too from his own teammate, as Matthias there with the DRS wide open, but not going to go for the move just yet, just waiting patiently so far. But the clouds are gathered in, haven't they, Milan?
Yeah, it's 8 laps to go, and the question really is, when is going to be the turning point between the two Alpines for them to start fighting as yellow flags are out again?
Talk about turning points. Talk about turning points. Eric just spun out of the corner as soon as you said it, and he caused a VSC. So another driver to lose his wing, and now NL, who's up into P10. We haven't really mentioned much of him so far.
Mike and Lucas into the pit lane. So they are going to make use of this VSC then. Onto mediums goes Mike, and Lucas on the Williams, in the Williams, goes onto mediums as well.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a safety car. A safety car has been deployed. Oh. You can see the yellow car. Is that a yellow car on the map?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is a full safety car. So the game is scamming us right here, but it is indeed a full safety car. That is gonna make things very interesting. We're gonna have a sprint race till the end of this race. Everyone is back in contention. This is exciting.
There it is. That's the safety car part on the left-hand side to allow the leaders through. So a safety car has been thrown into the mix, and guess what? Matthias once again gets put at a disadvantage because he got to double start behind his teammate. So he falls behind Ryan. I'm not quite sure about Kick. Maybe he's a bit too far behind. But Matthias, who's worked so hard in the first stint to try and catch up towards his teammate again, for the second time in a row, he's got to do the hard work again, has Matthias. So we'll see then, can he make any moves in the last stages? Can he catch up towards his teammate later on? But they're going to be on the soft compound tyres later. We'll have a sprint race towards the end of the Grand Prix too. I cannot wait to see how this goes down, because this means that the whole field is bunched up once again. And the guys behind, like Kick, Fireplace, Lucas, Mike, do they have the pace to try and stick with these guys? Because both Alpines have been flying so far, and did not put a foot wrong whatsoever in this Grand Prix. As they make their way in the pit lane once again, Silo is the leader with Matthias in P2. Ryan will get ahead of these two. We'll get ahead of one of them so far, as Kick is in the pit lane as well. So every single driver diving in the pit lane to put on a set of soft compound tyre. Kick, though, despite being so far behind in this race, a P3 could be on the cards for him, despite being off the pace, it must be said. So this safety car could really benefit him, but at the same time, can Matthias put himself ahead of Kick? If in fact he rejoins a P3, so it doesn't matter, he does get ahead of Kick.
That is going to be the question, but we're seeing mixed strategies here right here. Ryan and Kick, both on the softs, while both the Alpines have opted for a set of mediums. So Ryan and Kick, they are going to be very quick, and Kick might actually be back in contention and for the race, because he will have the tire advantage compared to the Alpines. This could get very interesting indeed, because it's going to be flat out to the finish at the end of probably next lap. So it might not just be plain sailing then for the Alpines in the end.
Let's have a look then, as Jake says, playing Williams don't get a penalty. So Jake then, he's on the Williams side, as I think he's got a mate. But Jake, I want to go back to your point, because I forgot to mention it. So yeah, back in 2009, when your dad supported F1 with Jensen Button and Braun was a new team in Formula 1, brought by Ross Braun, as the name shows there, and nobody expected them to do well, because it was BAL Honda. BAL Honda was an absolute terrible team, but they scored a podium back in 2008 when it was full wet conditions. I think it was Rubens Barrichello who put himself on the podium that day in P2 or 3. And it was Nick Heifo who finished in P3 or 2 on that day as well. But what a race. In fact, was it both BAR Hondas? I'm not quite sure who finished on the podium. It can't have been. It was one of them indeed. But I need to go back to that race, because I think it was definitely one of the BAR Hondas, if not both of them on the podium. I think it was definitely Rubens Barrichello. That's intrigued me now. I want to see who did finish the podium that day. I know there was Hamilton, because he finished over a minute ahead. But yeah, it was Hamilton, Heifeld and Barrichello, the top 3 that day. And Honda had a terrible season, or Honda had a very terrible season until that one race happened in Silverstone, and they became Braun 1 year later, and Jensen Button dominated 6 out of 7 races. He didn't win in one race. I think I was back at the Turkish Grand Prix when Sebastian Vettel won the Grand Prix, because Red Bull had a very slow start to the season. Ferrari and McLaren had a terrible start to the season, despite Lewis Hamilton winning, I think it was 2-3 races that season, because McLaren was terrible. Everybody expected in 2009 McLaren versus Ferrari, because Hamilton won the championship ahead of Felipe Massa. And Ferrari won the Constructors' Championship. That's Ferrari's last championship in Formula 1. The closest they've came was the 2024 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. They were only a few points behind. That's the closest they've ever been so far in any season. But yeah, Braun GP won the championship after an unknown season.
Crazy, you know. And also, if I remember correctly, didn't Ross Brawn buy Honda for just a single £1?
Yeah.
To turn it into Braun GP and then win the championship. Just imagine buying a team for a single £1 and turning it into a championship winning team. It's just, it's an incredible story.
Yeah, Jenson Button won his first championship. Jenson Button won his first race back in 2006 at the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a story that was as well for Braun, because at the end of 2008, highly anticipated season 2009, with BMW, Robbie Kubica and Nick Heidfeld being a very strong pairing too. Oh, they're getting so close, those guys, almost at the back of each other. But Kubica, Heidfeld was a very strong pairing. Heidfeld scoring good podiums. Robert Kubica winning the Canadian Grand Prix and just being another championship contender as well. 2009, we expected Ferrari versus McLaren, possibly BMW and Renault as well, with Fernando Alonso and Nelson Piquet. But obviously Piquet got dropped a year as well. And also the 2009 season, when it was the Singapore Grand Prix, Nelson Piquet got sacked for being very bad. He exposed the team, he stitched on them.
Yeah, interesting story indeed, but I think... Oh, is the safety car not going in yet? We're going to have one other lap then, so buckle up then. We got 4 laps to decide the winner, a 4-lap sprint race.
But yeah, back towards 2009, that was a very odd year indeed, as Jenson Button won the championship. Braun did as well, and Rubens Barrichello got 2 wins. I feel so sorry for Barrichello, because he was a second driver towards Michael Schumacher. Then he gets put in a championship winning car in 2009, and he's also a second driver towards Jenson Button. So I feel sorry for Barrichello there. But Barrichello did manage to get 2 wins that season in 2009. I think one of them was in Valencia. The other one was back in Monza when Lewis Hamilton crashed in the first Lesmo on the final lap. But yeah, Rubens Barrichello, I do feel sorry for him. Very good driver, but always played second fiddle to his teammates. Then he joined Williams in 2010 alongside Nico Hülkenberg. Interesting fact about Nico Hülkenberg, he started his career alongside a Brazilian. And now a Brazilian driver starts his career alongside Hülkenberg. So yeah, Hülkenberg's had a history of being alongside Brazilian drivers.
Very interesting indeed. Maybe it's a sign to come for Mr. Gabriel Bortoleto.
Yeah, Gabriel Bortoleto, if you don't know, the F3 and Formula 2 championship, as he now gets graduated towards F1. Isaac Hadjar will also be in Formula 1 as well, alongside Yuki Tsunoda. And Liam Lawson joins Red Bull with Max Verstappen. Oliver Behrman joins Haas alongside Esteban Ocon. And Jack Doohan, we already mentioned him, in the Alpine, but for how long?
I would be so stressed if I was him, knowing that you could be out after a few races. The pressure is on the max for him in these first few races to perform. It's an interesting decision by Alpine, but yeah, poor Doohan.
And his dad, Jack Doohan, so his dad, Mick Doohan, is a multiple MotoGP world champion, and his son graduates towards F1. But yeah, like you said, I feel so sorry for Jack. Under massive pressure, you got to perform immediately, otherwise Franco Colapinto will come and take your seat. Colapinto take his seat like there's no tomorrow. He took Sargent's seat, and now he's taking Jack Doohan's seat. But yeah, that's how the sport works these days. It's all about sponsorship, money, talent, skills. Unfortunately, like Lance Stroll, he has a lot of money, but maybe not so much skill. But here we are. The safety car is coming in towards the end of this lap, and once again we get racing with 4 laps left to go. And Silo's pulled the trigger. Then he's got a Haas right behind on a set of soft compound tyres. Then when he gets pressurised in towards turn 1, right on the inside, in towards when he goes. But there's not enough space there. Silo is a bit later on the brakes. Matthias follows him as well in P3 and P4. Kick has to utilise his soft compound tyres. Maybe Kick could be on course for a podium. Yes, he will, because Ryan has got a 3-second time penalty, but can he get towards P2 with an Alpine there? As you can see, the difference between softs and mediums in the high-speed corners. Eric has overtaken his teammate of Reiki, puts himself into P11 there, just outside the top set. Here comes the Red Bull, steam the inside. That's Robbie Jacobs, but gets pinched from the curb and has to stay in P13. But Matthias is right at the back of Ryan there, has to dispatch him immediately. But Ryan there is also on the back of the Alpine driver as we head down towards turn 11. Down he is, and he goes. It's a late send. Will it be contact? No, he won't. But here comes Matthias now, side by side with his teammate. But Silo there just got the throttle earlier as he stays in P2.
Wow. What a move there by Ryan. Late move from the right, switches to the inside line. Beautiful move to take the lead of this race. Incredible.
Well, I thought it could be a Hamilton and Magnus situation where he got pushed off the track and outbroke himself, but to Ryan, very controlled on the brakes indeed. This puts Silo in the clutches of his teammates, so this Matthias actually benefited from that, but Silo has the DRS at the back of Ryan in the last few laps. How will, as Ryan gets another 3-second penalty, I just heard him scrape the wall at the final corner there, so that's unlucky. He's going to get pushed out the corner. In fact, he's going to get pushed out the podium despite having great pace throughout this whole race. Like I said, having good pace is one thing, consistency is another thing, and unfortunately Ryan Bernard doesn't have consistency in terms of penalties, and that's going to be his kryptonite for this race. There is 3 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. What's Kit going to do in P4? Is he also going to be a threat? But Ryan, look at that, almost lost the car there as he took so much curb.
Yeah, way too much curb, and there's a star stepping out, and he's under so much pressure. You can see he's trying his hardest to stay in front of the Alpine because he got no chance on this straight with the help of DRS. And Silo retakes the lead of this race on lap 27, and Matthias is going to come steaming out on pass as well.
That's a very important move there for both Alpines. They're left to try and take. Well, sorry about that. I'm struggling to speak because my throat. I've got a very sore throat and a blocked nose, so I am really struggling to speak. I'm trying our absolute best, but yes. It's very important for both Alpines now because they're left alone to fight it out for P1 and P2. Which Alpine is going to finish in first place? Matthias has played second fiddle in this race. No safety cars can influence that now as Robbie Jacobs has been pushed down to P12 as Eric has got past him now, puts himself into P11. Kick, however, will get a podium thanks to Ryan's penalties as here we are then as we head on the back straight. No moves down towards the heavy breaker zone. Here comes Lucas up the inside or defending there. They're going side by side. Mike goes up into P6. It's a Ferrari P5 and P6. But Lucas there, still around the outside, has the DRS on the back of the other Ferrari, but low on battery, and Mike goes up into P6 and have more battery, more speed, as Ticey or Mummy Nick has spun out of the final corner, as both Sabres once again having a miserable race as Eric and Robbie Jacobs can't leave each other alone as they go side by side in 2-2. There's contact there, more contact, and they're both in the wall, and they lost the no play too. They just kept bumping wheels. As you can see, Robbie Jacobs is really angry as he retires out of this race.
Just totally smashed into the wall. These two have been coming together all race long, and this lap is no different as Robert, out of frustration, smashes into the wall. Eric is out of contention as well. Absolute mess between these two, but let's focus back on the two Alpines. Matthias has been so unlucky this race. Both of these safety cars, he had to be the one behind on the double stack, but now he's finally got an opportunity again to attack his teammate. He's got 1.5 laps to go, a little bit less than that. Can he do it?
Matthias, though, he jumps over the curb there in turn 16. You literally used all of it, but the problem is for Matthias, he's low on ERS. He's even used it right now. As you can see, Silo's ERS is much more sufficient than his. So could that be also a factor for Matthias later on the last lap? Where is he going to strike? Probably down at turn 16. This corner here, turn 17, the heavy braking zone, is probably where he's going to attack. But Ryan's been pushed out of the DRS range, so all eyes on the Alpine team to see which one of these two will finish in first place. DRS enabled then. Where is Matthias going to attack? Not down at turn 1. That'd be unwise because that means Silo will have the DRS on the second and third straight with DRS, and Kick is right behind. Look at that, 2 Ferraris are right behind too, so it's a battle for P3 here. Which one of these guys will finish on the podium? Could it be Fireblades? Could it be Kick? We're about to find out very, very shortly, but back towards the top 2, Eric gets a 3-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as Matthias there taking weird lines. Oh, almost to the back of his teammate there, but when he get a good exit out of turn 7 and turn 8 now as he uses the battery once again, just preying on his teammate. Silo has been looking in his mirror throughout this whole race to see where his rivals are. The DRS is enabled for Matthias then. He has no battery at all left. When he go down the inside into turn 11, no, it's all about turn number 16. But here we are. Oh. Look at this. Almost 4 abreast down the inside goes Mike. Oh, but it's a P3. It's unbelievable. unbelievable. The side by side, all three of them. Mike from P7 to P4, defending from his teammate. How did Mike do that? I have no idea. Here comes kick up the inside two of Fireplace, side by side in towards turn 16. We go more Borgia, more contact. They're in the wall. They're both in the wall. Contact with his teammate two of Fireplace and Lucas, and that's ended their race unfortunately. But Mike is up as a P4. He'll get a podium. But here comes Matthias then, right behind his teammate. Does not go for the move. He stays behind. Why did he not go down the inside in towards turn 17? I have no idea. But here we are then, out of the final two corners. Silo will come across the line to win the Miami Grand Prix. Matthias finishes in P2. And on the podium for his final race of his career is Mike. Unbelievable. How did Mike do that? Finishing in P3. Oh my goodness me, he went down the inside of all three of them in towards turn 11 there. I have no idea how he did it. But what a fantastic race from both RP drivers. Absolutely clinical, sorry, from both RP drivers. First and second, fantastic indeed. Round of applause there for both RP drivers. They did an outstanding job throughout the whole race. Matthias as well, you've got to give credit to him. Fighting his way back twice in this race from a safety car. But why did Matthias not be more aggressive down towards turn 17? I know the teammates, but at the same time, it's the second race of the season. Every single point counts. He could have done it, but unfortunately, backed out of it.
Yeah, indeed, he could have sent it up the inside, but wow, what a sensational final lap we've got on our hands there. The two Alpines, well, not quite fighting it out, but the battle was there for P3. But yeah, like you said, Matthias, he was right there in contention. He could have sent it up the inside, but he decided to stay behind and play the ultimate team game, as the season is still very long indeed. You want to be working together with your teammate. But for the second week in a row, we're seeing a 1-2 finish from a different team this time. Last week it was Williams, and this team, it's Alpine. Well done to them, as Silo finally has won a race after losing out to it last week due to a penalty.
Fantastic drive. It was a Williams 1-2 in Australia with a Ferrari in third. This time it's an Alpine 1-2 with a Ferrari in third. So the Ferrari still gets the podium, and unexpectedly too, because Mike out of nowhere came steaming up the inside there. Fireblaze and Lucas and Kick all came to blows, and unfortunately ruined their races too. Sashay Hood finishes in P10 as well from starting P14, and NL has been gone unnoticed as well from P15 to P7. Fantastic drive. Ivan from P11 to P6 as well. So many changes, and the two Sabers finished in P11 and P12 despite being on the back most of the race as well. So great effort there from both Saber drivers. But what an incredible race. Sensational, as the word you use as well. It was a sensational race, and it was a fantastic race indeed. I hope in the next race, which should be, if I check the calendar, because I did check it beforehand, but you know me, I forget. So the next race is Austria, and Jake, if you liked Miami, Austria will be even better, because there's 3 DRS zones, a long straight, big basting up towards turn 2 and turn 3 and 4. So I really hope to see you next week on Friday, Jake, and everybody who's watched as well. The highest peak viewers we got was 25, so thank you very much, guys, as well. The last video got 212 views. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support as well. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. And me and Milan will be your main commentators for the rest of the season, I hope, because this partnership is getting better and better. Me and Milan have only commentated twice now. This is our third time. So, yeah, we're working well together, and I think we're getting better and better each race, aren't we, Milan?
I couldn't agree more. I think I'm really enjoying it, and we are really working together quite well, if I do say so myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more races with you, and I'm sure we will. But yeah, what a race that was indeed.
Don't give up, mate. Well, we ran off there then for round 2, the Miami Grand Prix. What a thrilling race, but we should see some more actions, because we should see a massive DRS train. Fireblaze, he almost won the Austrian Grand Prix in another league, but he lost it on the final corner, believe it or not, because somebody spun it right in front of him. The guys ahead of him had a 3-second penalty. He did not have a penalty, so he could have won, but the guy ahead of him spun, he had to slow down on the brakes, and therefore the driver behind him just got him on the line by 17 thousandths of a second. And he was determined on the line as well. So Fireblaze almost won that Grand Prix, despite having full wind damage in the first stint. So I expect Fireblaze to be up there, but we should see more compact racing, because the DRS are powerful. The 3 DRS zones around there, so it'll be impossible to put the DRS, but whoever does will get left behind.
Indeed, it's going to be interesting. DRS train galore, as the Red Bull Ring usually is. But that's it for next week. Also, How for jou, Julian is in the chat. Good to see him here as well. Good friend of mine. Good friend of ours.
Yeah,
Great to have him here. But
oh yeah, as well to you, Julian and Milan. Happy birthday from yesterday, mate. I hope you both had an amazing birthday.
thank you very much. I certainly did, and tomorrow we'll celebrate it even more with family and stuff. But yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
That sums up the race for us then. We'll see you all next week for the Austrian Grand Prix for round 3. It was a Williams 1-2 in the first race, an Alpine 1-2 in the second race. Could be a Ferrari 1-2 in the third race. We've had a lot of 1-2 so far. We're about to find out. But for me and Milan, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for all your kind comments. And we'll see you all next week at the Austrian Grand Prix. Goodbye for now. Ik spreek je later. Tot ziens.
See ya.